boxer, how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again sent shockwaves through the boxing scene this time, calling out Jake Paul after Gervonta Tank Davis's scheduled fight was scrapped due to Tank's legal complications. Mayweather publicly declared he's ready to jump in and face Jake himself, insisting it wouldn't be an exhibition this time, but a genuine sanctioned bout. He made it clear there'll be no weight gimmicks or show business, just a real fight under true professional rules. The bold statement instantly exploded online, leaving fans wondering whether Floyd is truly gearing up for one last official return to the ring.
But at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, you know, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it. And he's making good money, and
Because of the ongoing lawsuit and internal investigations, the highly anticipated exhibition between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul has been officially called off. The event's backer, Most Valuable Promotions, confirmed in a statement that the company is reviewing the legal circumstances and decided not to move forward under the current situation.
The situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring Magazine that December 12th and the 19th.
Reports indicate that Davis is facing a civil lawsuit filed by his former partner, Courtney Rosal, connected to an alleged altercation at a Miami nightclub on October 27th. The filing lists serious accusations including battery, false imprisonment, and emotional distress. It claims Davis became physical during an argument, pulling and confronting her across multiple sections of the venue. Miami Gardens authorities have verified that an active investigation is underway alongside the civil proceedings, though no official criminal verdict has been reached yet.
Boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami.
Chael Sonnen recently offered his take on the confusion surrounding the rumored cancellation of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Sonnen revealed that he directly contacted both teams to verify the story, but neither side provided a clear response. According to him, that silence only added fuel to the speculation that something significant was unfolding behind the curtain. Sonnen suggested that when both fighters avoid confirming or denying a rumor, It's usually because the situation runs deeper, involving legal and promotional complications that can't be publicly discussed yet.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in. I want to say it was like...
Now that Tank's fight appears uncertain, Floyd Mayweather has turned the spotlight toward Jake Paul. Floyd has never minced words about Jake's boxing reputation. While he admits that Jake has done an impressive job building his brand and drawing attention, Mayweather stops short of labeling him a true professional. He's previously hinted that a matchup with Paul would be an easy night's work, saying that Jake has yet to face anyone near elite level. For Floyd, this call-out isn't just about competition, it's a reminder that even in retirement, he still defines what real boxing looks like.
There were many, many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's going to continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not going to be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's where his mindset.
Mayweather's long history of avoiding unnecessary rematches has left many wondering what could have been. On the flip side, critics argue that Jake Paul often handpicks older, smaller, or past prime opponents. Floyd himself has pointed this out while acknowledging Jake's entertainment value, saying that the moment Paul steps in with a legitimate fighter, the outcome will reveal the huge gap in skill, discipline, and ring IQ separating influencers from champions.
It's just with like Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer. What do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
Meanwhile, analysts continue to highlight the traits that made Mayweather nearly unbeatable, not just his speed or defense, but his mindset. They argue that what truly set him apart was his absolute belief in himself. Former Olympian Tony Jeffries once noted that Mayweather's mental dominance allowed him to win psychological battles before a single punch was thrown. That quiet confidence, he says, is the foundation that made Floyd the master of every ring he entered.
Really confident, to really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're going to lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. there was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of shit.
Recent reports also claim Mayweather is eyeing a potential matchup with Mike Tyson, a move experts see as more than a simple payday. Many believe Floyd's goal is to prove he still commands global attention even years after his official retirement. With all the noise surrounding the Jake Paul-Tank Davis saga, Mayweather seems determined not to let anyone, even his former protégés, outshine him. Observers call this classic Floyd, a man driven by competition, pride, and legacy, always finding ways to stay on top in a constantly evolving boxing landscape.
Many celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
According to multiple outlets, Jake Paul's team is already exploring replacement opponents after Davis's fight hit legal turbulence. Early reports claim they've reached out to several big names, including Terrence Crawford, as potential opponents. While nothing is signed or confirmed, the idea of Paul facing a fighter of Crawford's pedigree has turned the internet upside down. Even if it's just preliminary talk, such a matchup would instantly raise the credibility of Jake's boxing career and redefine his standing in the sport.
Scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good looking kid, great fighter, fast stands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul, but to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we got? Terence Crawford. I can't see Terence Crawford entertained in this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terence Crawford's getting on now. What is he, 37, 38 years old? Had a great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him. He's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua. That never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight.
Amir Khan has also slammed the matchup, calling it a complete mismatch. He criticized the promoters for allowing such a size and experience gap, saying it bordered on being irresponsible. With Jake walking around well above 200 pounds and Davis never competing past 140, Khan labeled the pairing both risky and one-sided. He questioned whether Davis simply wanted a big payday, suggesting that the match would have been more about money than genuine competition.
He gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well, and he thinks he can fight, and he's only been boxing for what, like a year. But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on.
Some fans question whether the cancellation was even necessary, claiming that Davis remains physically ready to compete despite the legal drama. They argue that other athletes have fought while dealing with similar cases, implying this decision may be more about corporate image than genuine concern. Others counter that the allegations are far too serious to ignore and that proceeding with the event could have sparked huge backlash. Either way, the situation has divided the boxing world, leaving fans torn between business, justice, and entertainment.
So, did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul, his team, and Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all.
So what's your take on this developing story? Should Floyd Mayweather officially step in and fight Jake Paul? Or should promoters wait until Tank Davis resolves his legal situation? Drop your thoughts below, and let's hear what the fight community thinks, because this drama might just shape boxing's next big headline.